Hey, everybody. I see people slowly coming in. Alberto, good to see you, buddy. How are you? Krista, Brett, hi, everybody. Eric, Joseph, hello, hello. We're just going to continue from last week because I ended the stream pretty early last week. So I wanted to come on and answer some more questions for you guys today. KSSBN, good afternoon. Arsenic, hey, how are you? Wow, we have 27 people, guys. How is everybody? Good to see you all. Thanks for joining. Yeah, so today we are going to continue to answer questions from last week, and I'm going to show you a few things that I'm doing. Um, also, talk about indoor growing, outdoor growing, hydroponic, or whatever you guys want to talk about, and feel free to ask questions. Jeremy, it's a great day in Iowa. Yeah, it's really nice here too. Hello, Goldfish from Germany. Hello, Germany. Yeah, Alberto, I'm glad you can join. It's always good to see you. I recognize your name. Samantha, hello from the UK. How many KS varieties did you create? Wow, I lost count after 25. So if you go to kcdgarden.com, you can see many of the varieties that I created. I put it on there, so you can go check there. Uh, while you're there, be a member. So kcdgarden.com. Let me show you guys the website. So if you guys go here, a lot of the stuff that I created, I placed on there. Put as much descriptions as I like. I mean that I could. So let me read some questions for you guys. Blossom drops. Okay, let me see. For more information, I'm using AeroGarden farm, which is a 12 by 1, and using CalMag and Aero solution. What should I do? Um, is your plant healthy? Are there root problem? Is the root brown? Um, there's so many things because when you grow in hydroponic, uh, blossom drops could be one thing. It could be imbalanced nutrients. That's the first. The next is if you have a high concentration of nitrogen. So if you use nitrogen during the bloom phase, and what that does is it causes the plant to think that it should be growing. So in order for it to grow, it would drop the bloom. The plant will look super healthy, except it keeps dropping all the bloom, and that could be because. And no, the roots are no good. Okay, yeah. So there's your problem right there. The roots maybe, if you have root problem, I have a little edema. Okay, edema is caused by too much, water getting to the leaves, and it can't release it fast enough. So try to have like some airflow, air circulation, fix the root problem. um, if the root looks really bad, you can actually trim the plant a little bit and trim the roots, and then put fresh water in there, run it for about 24 hours to flush out everything, clean up the roots. And then, after that, you can cut back the dead roots and then give it half strength nutrients and then recirculate the system again. And that will help the plant recover. There is a product called BioRoots that you can use that will help, uh, protect the roots and all the that stuff. Oh, the roots are good. Okay, so it could be because you may want to cut back on your feeding. So let's just say if you're using 5 milliliter per gallon, and then you're also adding CalMag, try do that in half. Like do 2.5 milliliter per gallon, and a little bit of CalMag as well, just half strength, and see how that does. But first, what you should do is you should flush the system first. Um, Make sure that the roots are nice and fresh so that the nutrients is balanced, and then that should take care of the problem. Too much nitrogen, that means too much feeding of the NPK. So if the N level is too high, it'll cause a lot of the blossom to drop. Let's see. Alberto, I did grow moringa tree hydroponically, but I didn't do it for a long time. I grew it for like a few months, and it got enormous. Moringa is a very fast growing tree. It grows super fast. So if you grow it in hydroponic, it grows so fast, and it take up the space in no time. So I took the plant outside, um, and when you take it outside, it grows pretty fast too when the weather is warm. And so I keep having to cut the plant back because I have it in a 5-gallon bucket. So yeah, it's fun. You can grow moringa in hydroponic, but it's gonna take over and grow really fast, and it's gonna be more of a problem, to feeding it and all that stuff. So it's better to grow it in soil. I have not crossed the Hungarian hot wax with any other chilies. I have grown Hungarian hot wax once. It's a great tasting pepper variety, good for pickling. I love those. Fern, how is your tomato plant doing? It's doing amazing. I just posted a picture on my story of YouTube. But funny you ask because I brought a tomato plant I want to show you. Look at this. You see this tomato plant? I'm growing in a bottle. So initially, this started out as a half bottle, and now it's a full bottle because it started to drink so much. And look at this. Look at all of these flowers. I have a few fruits already, and all grown in a little system like this. It stands up on its own. Isn't that amazing? Look at all the truss has so many flowers. So I'm gonna have a ton of fruits. Once the fruit come in, it's gonna probably gonna fall over. But I may have to move this to a larger system. But yeah, have fun with your grow. These are extra plants that I didn't want to trash. So I tested and I play around with it, and this is what I have. And here's another one. See, these are also extra plants, and I'm growing it in the same method. This is hydroponic. It's a Kratky method. So let me explain so that you guys know. The Kratky method is called the non-circulating method. What that means is there's no water, no air being pumped into the system. And how the plants get oxygen is that initially the plants would just touch the water. And then as the plants get bigger, it will drink the water and the water level will drop. So as the water level drop, the roots will grow down further to get to the water. And in the gap right here, where there's air, that's how it breathed. It started to produce air roots. The air roots has little hairs on them. You can see it looks like cotton, and that's how it takes up oxygen to breathe. And it feeds itself by extending the water roots here. So that's how it drinks the water and breathe at the same time and live in a system that has no air being pumped to it. So it doesn't become stagnant like a lot of people are afraid of that. And you can grow fruit trees, pepper trees, any kind of trees in this method as long as you know the concept to how air is being able to get to the roots of the plants. And see from this, I have, let's see, a bunch of fruits already. So I have this one fruit right here. And there's a few more somewhere, but a lot of the flowers are starting to become fruit. Uh, the yellowing is because I switched the light setup, and the light was too strong. It started to it was too much for the plant, and that's how it gets to there's a purple tint and there's yellow, and that's how you know that your plant is suffering from too much light. This is one of the causes. Okay, and then here, guys, look, I'm growing microgreens in a salad container. You see here? So you can I grow my own radish, and I collect my own seeds. So when the radish go to seeds, they produce a ton of seeds. And so what I do is since I can't use all of the seeds, I take them and I grow them as microgreen. These are delicious, guys. They're nice and crunchy and spicy, and they taste like a regular radish, and they're very healthy for you. And this takes only 5 days to grow. And you can see the time lapse. It takes only 5 days. They're very easy. You just use a little bit soil. You spread the soil over the container, put the seeds on top, put a lot of seeds, and then put another thin layer of soil, and then water, and that's it. It grows into something like this. So yeah, those are some of the fun ways you can grow. Have some fun, grow some plants, learn hydroponic and all that stuff. Let me read some of the questions. I keep talking, I forget. Uh, can you feed house plants only on Kosazi? I'm not sure. And banana peel pub? I don't know. I have not tried that. But banana peel, if it breaks down, it gives the plants a lot of potassium. So I use banana peel in my compost, and the worm loves it too. So, but as far as feeding the house plant, only those, I'm not too sure. What is the best way to plant chilies? My plants are 3 weeks old, and I'm planning to plant them outside in May. I think you say May. Um, do I have to do something different than with paprika? All peppers are the same. If you grow them inside and then you decided to take them outside in May it could be very hot. So what you should do is you want to get them acclimatized. Put them in the sun for 30 minutes, take them back in, and then the next day put them out for a little longer, take them in, and then within a week you can put them outside completely, and they won't burn. So if you take them inside and then bring them out in May immediately, it's gonna burn the plant, and you may even kill them. Oh, Beppy, miniature cooking, thank you so much for the donation. Have a great weekend. Yeah, so I hope that answered your question. What kind of tomato was that? That is called a Blanckaufchen. Blanckaufchen is a German variety of a tomato that looks very much like a sun sugar tomato. It's a very old variety. It is great because it produced so much. Blanckaufchen. Oh, wow, you have been watching me for 8 years? Alberto, thank you so much for sticking around for that long. I'm glad you're not, tired of me talking yet after all these years. Ponton, I have not seen your compost idea, but I'm going to look at it. Um, yeah, definitely, I'm gonna go check it out. I'm always looking for new ideas, to learn. So if you have a new compost, I'm definitely gonna check it out. What strength do I use the AeroGarden food for young pepper plants? Use 2.5 milliliter per gallon of water for the young plants. And as they get bigger, you can use 5 milliliter per gallon, and that should be perfect. And you can use AeroGarden plant food the entire cycle of your plants. So you don't have to switch from bloom or grow or bloom or stuff like that. It's just one nutrients for the entire cycle, and it works perfectly. Fred, oh wow, your pepper is exploding with fish tank water. Yeah, that's great. I think aeroponic is an excellent method that they use fish and plant. And I mean I haven't never looked into that, but I was always been amazed by that. Texas hot pepper is selling my white Thai varieties and other genetics. Are they legit? I'm not too sure. Most of my varieties, I ask people not to sell them, but you can't really tell everyone not to sell them. I rather them share it with other people, but you really can't control what they do. Um, the white tie, I've seen their post on the white tie. I think they might have gotten seeds from one of our members. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I don't work with them. I don't know who they are, so I can't tell you if they're real legit or not. Wow, rhino beetles, huh? Man, I'm gonna have to check that out. Ponton, rhino beetles are like some of the coolest bugs. They're just crazy looking bugs. They look awesome. Can I recommend a reliable, durable pH meter? Yes, actually, I used to buy all kinds of pH meter on Amazon for like $12. And then, they keep breaking down and I have to keep calibrating. And so I got sick of it. I mean, I went through like four of those already, and I could have saved my money and get a better one. So I have, God, I don't have it next to me. It's in the garage right now. I think it's by Dr. Meter. Uh, but message me on Instagram. I'll show you the exact one that I use. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's very reliable and it's very accurate, and it's a good one. And I've been using for like over a year now, and it's still working great. So I stopped using those $12 ones on Amazon, so don't use those anymore. uh, How's the custom air garden working out, Robin? It is working great. I'm actually doing a grow right now. Chris and I are challenging each other to grow a tomato variety to see who can grow it who can grow it better. If you look on my Instagram, I just posted a picture. I think this morning of the system. It's working great. And the cool thing is that I use the phone to control everything. And the light is too powerful. It was like 100 watts. So what happened was I set it to 80% and I put my plants under there, and all of a sudden 2 days later everything turned white from the top. The plant, I mean, the light was too much. So I had to turn it down to 50%. I might have to do 40% pretty soon. But yeah, it's a very powerful system for being something so small. Do you think gardening is a strange hobby? I'm the only one in the school that likes stuff like that. I think gardening is a great hobby. It's healthy for you. It's fun. You get to see things grow. It's almost like when you put a seed in soil and it comes to life. I don't know. I get a lot of joy out of that. Even I've been gardening for so long, and every season when I see a seedling sprout, I get excited. So it doesn't get old. So yeah, it's great. It's a good hobby for you. Go fish. You're not strange. Mr. Green, can we get another seed drawing? Yes, I think I should do another seeds drawing. What do you suggest? I should do next. I would probably do some soon. How do you create crosses with exotic colors? Um, it's really hard to say, but basically, you take a colorful plants and then you try them, and whatever comes out. The thing with crossing peppers is it's different from crossing other things. It's like you can see it within 6 months. So you once the cross is complete, you get the seed, you grow it, and then 4 or 5 months later, you get to see the results. And if you like the result, then you keep going. So it does take a little bit of time, but it doesn't take that much time. So the result is much faster, so you can find out. There is a chili chart. Let me give you a chili chart. That way, when you cross, you kind of know what to expect. So these are compatible varieties that you can cross with each other to give you the best result. But as far as genetics, how it's going to come out, it's going to be, you know, much more than just a chart. I have this document that I read in the past, and it tells you about genetics and how they put everything in the Punnett square and what comes out, and what's the dominant traits, recessive traits, and all that stuff. So I read it over the years, but it is very difficult to read. But yeah, the chart, the chili man right here, it'll give you what variety will be most compatible with each other. So for example, if you cross chinense, it's best to cross with another chinense. So if you cross a chinense with an annuum, then the result may not come out right, or it may not come out at all. Like the seeds may not be viable. Peter Bampton, thank you, sir. I'm glad you enjoy the videos. The white tie and the Houston white tie, is there a difference? I don't know. They look very similar, but my friend Vince Chen, he gave me the Houston white tie. They look very similar to the white tie, the KS white tie, but he said that the Houston white tie when they get ripe, they don't turn soft. But as far as that, everything else looks exactly the same. They grow in the same habit. They produce the same color. The seeds, the pods are almost the same shapes and size and everything. They taste also similar. I'm actually growing both this year, so I'll give you a comparison at once they come out. I'll do the What's the Pepper series with both of those, and then you can see the difference between the two. Yeah, so that's a great idea. I do have a lot of white tie seed that I could do a giveaway on. Are you crossing tomatoes? Yes, I have one tomato varieties that I call the KS sweet cherry that I'm growing right now. And I'll show you guys that in the future because tomato is something new that I've been working on. So if it doesn't look good, I'm not going to show it. But yeah, I will show that in the future if everything turns out great. Oh, hi, Kay Laborde. You use my method for making hot sauce every year? Yes, I'm glad you do. You did that. It's great, right? It's a very simple recipe, but it tastes amazing. I give my hot sauce to a lot of friends, and like friends give it to other friends. Sometimes I bring it to parties, and yeah, people keep asking for more. And I think it's not. It's just because the flavor of these exotic peppers are really amazing, guys. You have to try to grow the super hots. They're called super hots because they're really hot, but the flavor is just excellent. Yeah, if you haven't grown super hots, try some. Grow some Scotch bonnets and as a start because it's not crazy crazy hot and you can do so much with it. You can make hot sauce, salsa, um, you can even cook with them and all that stuff. So Mighty Nora, is there a tobacco curing update? Wow, tobacco is like I have so much to learn. um, where is my curing? I had a jar somewhere that I made last year. I'm not sure if I showed it to you guys already. This is my tobacco from last year, and I aged it. Wow, it smells amazing, guy. I don't smoke or anything like that, but I do this for fun, and I love the process of making cigars. So I'm gonna try it again this year. The curing is easy. The fermenting part is very difficult because I don't have the right equipment, and I'm also trying to do the DIY stuff because I just don't want to invest in something so expensive just to do something that I don't even smoke. So I'm doing the DIY stuff only right now. Jakeem, my buddy, thanks for the tomato seeds. Chris and I are growing those as a contest. Thanks to you. The hundreds and thousands tomato varieties is from Jakeem. So I'll show you guys video in the future of the plant. It's gonna be awesome. Am I gonna get the salsa in store in the future? I don't think so. I don't. I usually I just make enough for me and a few friends, and when we have a party, I do make hot sauce. I make side dishes, or I make uh, dips for like chips and stuff like that. It's just for fun. But I'll try to share more recipes with you guys in the future. Simple stuff because I'm not a cook. I'm terrible at it. So I like to make things as easy as possible because I can't really do anything difficult. Yeah, Alberto, making cigar is so satisfying. It's a long, long process. I didn't realize that cigars is such an intricate process. You gotta age the tobacco like for a couple of years, sometimes 4 years, 8 years, depending on the quality. And it's crazy. There's different tobacco varieties you got to grow, like for the filler, the wrappers, and all that stuff. So over the years, over last year, because of the pandemic, I did a bunch of reading on tobacco and trying to learn how to cure tobacco and all that stuff and age it. Wow, I was very, very impressed by the process, and I got hooked. So I'm trying to do that this year. UFC 260, but man, this is I can't wait. Milchik or Francis Gano. I think that I forgot how to spell pronounce his name, but Francis is a very powerful fighter, guys. I mean, he is a one hit knockout fighter. But Stipe Miocic, he can last 5 6 rounds, and I always go for fighter who has the best stamina because a lot of the time that's the game plan. You go in there, you're trying to preserve energy, and Franz is going there for a knockout. So if he doesn't get the knockout in the third round, he's worn out. Just like the first time they fought the first time. Francis did great, but then in the first in the later rounds, he gets so tired and it seems like he's already ready to give up. So I think if they stick to the same game plan, go for the longer rounds and not the knockout and just you know just fight the whole 5 round. I think Miocic is gonna win. Okay, let's see what else I have here. What is your hot sauce recipe? I have so many videos made on it, Nathan. So you can check my videos and browse. There's a lot. It's really easy recipe. It's like 15 minutes. Can you cross peppers with any other varieties, plant varieties? No, I think peppers can only be crossed with peppers. And when I say peppers, I mean chili peppers, not the black peppers. Let's see. Did I miss something, Lily's? Did Lily say something? I can't even see it. Vaughn, has your chili recipe changed? Yes, it has changed. So what changed is that I use 1 cup of crushed peppers and 1.5 to 2 cups of oil. That makes the better recipe. The 1 to 1 is just not enough. I end up because when you cook it, it kind of like the pepper kind of absorb the oil, and so the oil becomes less and less, and it makes a really dry oil. So 1 cup of peppers to 1.5 to 2 cups of oil. That's the best. So go with that. Mr. Green, yes, I am a fight fan. I love the UFC. I watched it way back since before it was, before it was legal. So, I used to be, I love Pride. Pride is like very crazy back then. And then the UFC, was kind of illegal. And now they gotten very mainstream, so a lot of it is mostly drama created excitement, but back in the day it's like real fights, so I kind of miss it. Is there any really good Scoville rating guide? I want to stay in the same number this year. Scoville rating, you can look it up. There's a Scoville rating for many map. Oh, there's a site called what is it? Uh, let me look it up for you. This is the website that. Okay, here we go. It is called the Cayenne Diane. It's a really neat website, and it gives you descriptions on different peppers and some of the Scoville units. Most of it is very accurate, so check that website. It's a great website. I use it from time to time. So yeah, I hope that helps you answer your question. Uh, Lily, you had some Carolina seeds that you threw in soil. They never grew, so uh, they never grew. It could be anything. It's definitely not fertilizer because seeds don't need fertilizer to sprout. So if you throw it in soil and they don't sprout, it's because the condition is not right. There's not enough moisture. Maybe the seed may be too old, or it could be those. But try to uh, moisten the soil, put the seeds in, put a dome on top, and keep it around 85 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and they will sprout in 7 to 10 days. If you have older seeds, it may take 14 to 21 days, but they will sprout. There's no need for fertilizer when you're starting out your seeds. What flavored notes does the lemon starburst have? Oh man, Drew, you should check out Johnny Scoville review of the lemon starburst. He does a great job on it. So, Drew, if you look it up, a lemon starburst, you can see many people already tried it on YouTube, so you can see what they say about it. It's a very great tasting pepper. It has really good heat. There's a lot of heat. I mean, it looks pretty and it looks innocent, but that thing has a great crazy kick. So yeah, definitely check it out. And you like some of the videos. These guys are great. Have you ever grown cotton? No, I have not grown cotton, but a friend of mine in Houston sent me some cotton seeds. He owns a huge farm, and he sent me some seeds to grow cotton, but I have not do that. Have not done that. Can you put seedlings from my rock wool directly into soil? You can, uh, but um, I don't recommend it because you don't. Are you talking about a plant that is already in rock wool, like it's already a plant, or like how big is it? If it's a tiny plant, you can peel the rock wool back because what happened is rock wool retains the water, a lot of water, and so when you put the rock wool and the soil, then your soil has water, and then the rock wool also contains water, and it may hinder the growth of your seedlings. But if you have a big plant that's in rock wool, definitely you can put it in soil. And remember, rock wool does not break down. It's a wool of rocks, so they don't break down at all. It'll be the same size or whatever a few years later. So if it's around your plant, it's gonna stay around your plant. Uh, Pyrus in your area, everybody grows annuum in pairs in the ground with good results. Can shenanigans be planted two in the ground? You can plant anything 2 by 2 in the ground. Um, but it's like you may have to trim to kind of like chinens get really big, so I don't know why you would want two in the same spot, because one plant is actually all you need, because chinens can grow enormous and they produce so much, so you don't need two plants. I would suggest, if you have two plants, plant them in two different spots, give them around 2 to 3 feet apart. And if everything's right, good soil and stuff like that, you're gonna get a lot of fruits that you're probably gonna have to give some away. Right, rockwool does not decompose. It will stay there for maybe forever. Are you fighting lots of insects on your plants? Yes, Joseph, I am fighting aphids right now. So guys, I have been experimenting for the past few years, and I notice a trend, right? So every time during spring, this is when the weather is around 55 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, the only pests that are out there is going to be aphids. They will come, especially if you fertilize your plants with a high concentration of nitrogen. They are attracted by nitrogen fertilizer. So if you fertilize with lots of nitrogen, that area where you fertilize is going to get the most aphids. But yeah, aphids is a problem. Um, and when you see aphids, you're going to see ants. Ants kind of work together with them, and they kind of bite the other bugs from trying to get to the aphids. Does neem oil really work to fight off insects? Yes, and some it depends on what insects you're fighting. Neem, it works if you use it the right way, but it also will hurt your plants if you use it the wrong way. So neem is an oil base, right? So what that means is that it doesn't mix with water. So when you mix neem with oil, you got to have a little bit of soap in there so that it can mix up into the bubble and can stick to your plants. If you don't have a soap, I think when you spray it, it falls right off. So then it doesn't work. Oh, Alberto, you sent Johnny some organic reapers. He ate 20 of them. Dude, Johnny is crazy. Johnny has like an iron stomach. Man, I love Johnny. Alberto, I met Johnny in person. Um, really cool. He's like the 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 pepper review king. He's awesome. I met him in person. We took pictures. I met him at like a sauce festival. Really cool guy. And there's no one that I know can eat peppers like Johnny can, and he does amazing reviews. So guys, yeah, check him out, Johnny Scoville. He's awesome. Yes, Mighty Nor, you're correct. When you spray neem, do not spray when the sun is high. It'll burn your plant. You gotta spray when the sun is down. He's basically the Pope of pepper. Yes, the Pope of peppers, like a tongue twister. Joseph, hell, cinnamon repels ants, but does it help with aphids? No, because aphids. Did you know that aphids they have winged aphids also? Aphids can come to your plants by flying there. They don't have to be carried by ants. So, like every season in the spring, like right now, I have aphids that have wings that would land on the plants. As soon as it land on the plants, they will shed the wings and they will start to multiply. They look black. They look like a fungus gnat, but a little bit, but like 3 or 4 times bigger. So they'll land on your plants, they'll shed the wings, and then they start to multiply. So watch out for those. They don't need ants to get to your plants. Have you tried any heirloom tomato varieties? Any suggestions? Is sun sugar heirloom? I think sun sugar is heirloom. Sun sugar is an excellent variety of tomato. It's a cherry tomato variety that produces a gazillion tomatoes, and it is so sweet. It tastes like a fruit. And the best thing about sun sugar is that it doesn't crack. So in my area, like in April and May, it rains like crazy. I mean, there's just so much rain in some years, and sometimes my other tomato varieties start cracking. But when I grow sun sugar or sun gold too, sun gold and sun sugar, they stay intact. They don't crack at all. I mean, there's like maybe one or two crack out of like a few hundreds of them. So yeah, I think it's an heirloom variety, sun sugar or sun gold. Joseph, you live in Norway. All the plants are inside for now. I use neem oil. Also, once I cut them, every damaged leaf, but they come back. Spider mites are back, and oh yeah, spider mites. Wow. Are you sure that spider mites? Because sometimes there are other mites. And spider mites are larger. They call it spider mites because they spin webs. Spider mites are actually a little bit easier to treat than the broad mites. The broad mites are super small, and you can barely see them. And those are the ones that I always have problem with every year. And for me, I use sulfur. Sulfur works well on those guys. I've been using it for the past year, and it get rid of all of um, the broad mites. It also treats other mites as well, but look it up. Sulfur works great. Bonai sulfur spray, and go with the direction. It'll tell you it's a powder, so you mix it with water, and then you shake it up and spray your tent. And what I usually do is I spray the plant, right, and I also spray around the outside of the plant. I mean the tent, so the area, the growing area, and it keeps them in control. And I got rid of most of them. And yes, so that's what I've been using. No, I think that's how you say your name. Thanks for sharing your passion. Your videos have aided in creating a fun family hobby. Our 11-year-old is now asking for a custom grow box. That's awesome. I'm glad she finds it fun because it's really a fun, and it's actually a healthy hobby too. And there is just so much to learn from just growing things, and even the aero garden. It's a great little system to grow inside and have a lot of fun with your kids. And every day once I start the plant, I'll go to the air garden to look at it. I look at it yesterday and I'll look at it again tomorrow. I mean, it's gonna look the same, but I always go look. Yeah, so many people from Norway. um I think it's evening over there right now because I have a friend over there that we talk all the time. He's 11 hours ahead of us. Are you still growing ground cherry? I'm not growing them, but they grow on their own. So I have ground cherry every year. I never have to grow them. Uh, every season, I will have to go out to the garden and pull them out, and I'll leave like one or two plants because the birds also love them, and they'll drop the seeds and they'll grow all over the yards. And sometimes the seeds drop themselves, and then the ants will eat them, and then the leftover seeds will grow. So I have a ton of ground cherries all the time that I never grow. Lily, you live in California. Yes, the weather there's great. You can grow so many things. Uh, you know, it may look like you fail at everything, but it could be because you haven't done it enough. Once you have a little bit more experience, I would say start here. Start growing this. Start growing microgreens. And once you become successful with microgreens, you're gonna want to grow other things. Um, it's really fun. This here took 5 days to grow from seeds to this size, and they're delicious. They're great in any kind of food. And all you have to do is put seeds and add water, and that's it. And 5 days, you get a tray full of microgreens to use. Lily, try that. Try microgreens. Once you're successful with that, you're gonna love everything else. I Katami. I did already do a video on ground cherries. You can check it out. They're very easy to grow. Um, they're very low, and they're low growing plants, and they spread like crazy. So one plant is good. They love the sun, but not direct sun all day. Because direct sun all day beat on them, you can see the leaves start to burn. So they like to be like in the corner of the raised beds where you get afternoon shades, and they will produce so many little pods. Like it looks like what are those? Tomatillos, but they're so sweet, taste like mango and all that stuff. Yes, Lily, organic herbs. I grow a lot of herb too. They're very easy. Grow Thai basil, and sweet basil. If you need some guidance, check out my video on how to grow Thai basil. Actually, you know what? Let me show you something. So here, Lily. So these are basil that I bought from the Asian grocery store. And what they're fresh. You can buy them fresh, and then once you use the leaf, put the stem in water, and they will root. And once they root, you put them in a pot with nice soft soil, and keep the soil kind of moistened but not super wet. Give them some sun, and they will grow like crazy. And they're easy. And Thai basil put out flowers really early, and so if you want to have more leaves, pluck off all the flowers. Don't let any of the flowers bloom. So as soon as you see flowers, pinch them all off. Just pinch every single flower off, and the plants will continue to grow and grow and grow, and you get a ton of nice basil leaves to use for like the whole summer. And they love the heat too. So you live in California, your weather is amazing. So they will grow probably all year there. So yeah, if you grow Thai basil, don't grow them from seeds. It does take a long time. Just propagate them, and it just takes a few months, and you get like a enormous plant. Wow, we have 90 people, guys. Thanks for being here with me. Let me see. So I made the chat slow down, so because I read really slow. So I'm just going down the list trying to answer some of the questions for you guys. Vaughn, five of my six peppers are doing well. One has its leaves curling the edges upward. Any idea? Uh, if pepper leaves are curling upward, that's because it could be because you water too much. If there's too much water, the roots start to struggle to breathe, and you're gonna have leaves curl like this, and it kind of turn a little bit yellowish too. If you have a little bit of a yellowish leaves that curl upwards, then you have too much water or you water too much. Alberto is related to someone named Lily Tran. Tran is a very common last name for Vietnamese. I think Tran and Nguyen are the two most common names. It's even much more common than Smith. You started my pepper obsession. How did you get started? How did I get started? I think it's probably because my grandfather used to, I used to live on a farm with my grandfather, and he grows, I mean, he has orchards and rice fields, and, basically, he grows everything, that you can think of in the garden. And just growing up, I help him with growing corn, peas, coffee, fruits like oranges and tangerines and all that stuff. And I guess that's where my passion started. Brian, spider mites are attacking my strawberries right now. Wow, okay. Spider mites are a huge problem. Um, are you asking how to treat them? Spider mites is always a big problem for many things. It could be for, people growing strawberries, peppers, and all that stuff. The best thing to do is spot them early and get rid of them. If you have an infestation, then you might have to just keep treating it like, continuously until they all die because they can multiply very quickly. Yes, they do love marijuana. Yeah, you want to you could use organic sprays like neem oil with soap. That definitely would take care of them. If you grown inside, are you growing inside or outside? If you're growing outside, uh, use a water hose and spray them down and let the leaves dry up, and then use neem and water with soap and spray all over the plants, up, down, inside the leaves and everything. Make sure you spray when the sun is down. That way it doesn't damage your leaves. And if you spray and every parts of the leaves, get touched by the neem spray, they will die, and they, control the number and then repeat every 3 days until their population is gone, and that's how you get rid of them. Don't treat it one time and then you think it's gone, and then don't treat them again because they'll come right back. So you have to keep on a schedule. Every 3 days, do it because they'll multiply, and every 3 days they'll lay the eggs. The eggs will hatch, and then they'll. If you grow inside hydroponic, same thing. And spray when the light is about to be off. Make sure every part of the plant you make contact with the solutions you're spraying, and it should be okay. I use neem oil in the past, but recently I ran out of neem oil, so I use bonide sulfur spray. And sulfur also does it treats a lot of the mites problem too. So look up the bonide sulfur. and that's how I treat my indoor plants. I had uh, not spider mites, but I had russet mites, broad mites on my cucumbers and peppers, and that's what I used. I also spray around the outside of the tent. That's just in case if they're trying to come in or whatever. And you repeat the steps every 3 to 4 days, and don't stop until everything is dead. You get rid of them. Can you grow peppers without grow lights? You can if you have a bright window that can give you around 6 hours of sun, direct sun. It can be shaded. So if you don't have that, then you must have a grow light because peppers are tropical plants and they love light. So you need to have 6 to 8 hours of light in order for them to grow. Uh, Quentin, what is my favorite peppers? I have many. One of them is the Brazilian starfish. I talk about that all the time. Another one is the white Thai. My Kingstar white Thai is one of my favorite. Um, let's see what else I have. I love a lot of the ahi varieties, like the ahi pineapple, the ahi lemon, the ahi mango. Basically, all of the ahis are great. Let's see, biquinos. I love biquinos. Uh, and let's see, all of the Kingstar varieties. I grow them every year, so I love them. Yep, but those are some of the few. But I also love to grow sandtaka. Have you guys ever grown sandtaka varieties? Sandtaka grow in huge clusters, and cluster grow another cluster and another cluster. It's just an amazing variety that has very little heat, but good for cooking. Like if you cook stir fry or fry rice, throw them in there, gives it a good, nice flavor. So sandakas are really beautiful, and they grow really cool and produce a ton. Let's see. Mighty Noor, how to grow pear trees. Ah, cool. I have let's see how many. One, two, four pear trees, but one of the pear tree has four varieties on it. So I actually have eight pear trees, eight pear varieties, and they're all Asian pears. And I'm making a video documenting how to grow them throughout the season. It's been going since last November, so I'm gonna keep it going for a while. So it's gonna be a year worth of work. Uh, it's gonna cover everything. So you see, my baby just woke up. I think my wife's gonna get her. Yeah, so growing pears is a lot of fun. They're just delicious variety, and let me see. Yeah, my baby just woke up, so yeah, sorry. So yeah, I grow all these pears. So right now, so with pear trees is like a lot of the Asian pears, they're self-pollinating. So that means they can have fruit on their own without a partner. But if you have another variety next to it that bloom at the same time, you get a lot more pears. So I think a lot of people that grow Asian pears always wonder, will they produce on their own? Yes, they will produce on their own, but not as much as if you have another companion. So like say you're growing Hosui. Hosui is one of the best tasting pear. It's a beautiful variety. And if you need to grow one and you don't know which one to pick, I recommend a Hosui. Hosui are you can grow it along with like Shinseki or Jojiro, and they will produce at the same time and they will help pollinate each other. and you will get a lot of pears. So yeah, you do have to spray because pears are very susceptible to rust, and I had it last year because I didn't spray. And rust comes from these pine trees. I think they're pines or spruce or something like that. But it need a hose, and they grow on pear, and they repeat the cycle every year. So I do spray like a dormant spray in the wintertime when the plant is dormant, and I spray it all the way up until the plant start to open the flowers. And once the flowers open, I stop spraying. And because when the flowers open, the bees are gonna come. So if you spray, you might harm the bees. So stop spraying when you know the blossoms are gonna open. I know what Overwatch is, but I don't play that. Let's see. My backyard is heavily wooded and shaded. Are there any fruit trees I can grow 3 hours filter sunlight? Hmm. Uh, I know that you can grow like uh, a Japanese maple. They're just gorgeous plants, and I'm dying to grow some Japanese maple, but I don't have enough shade to cover them, and so they burn in the sun of Texas. So Devin Brooks, if you like flowering trees, Japanese maple love shade. They love to be grown under another tree. But as far as fruits, let's see. I don't know which fruit because I only grow apples, pears, and persimmons, and they love the sun. Uh, Lenovis, yes, I did start something with Chris Grow Kit. I'm growing a tomato variety right now. Chris and I are doing a contest. We're challenging each other to grow the same tomato variety in the same system. So I'm documenting the process. So I'll release the video once they're ready. I bought two Asian pear from Whole Foods 2 years ago, and now they have flowers. Excited to see fruit. Oh wow, that's great. Usually Asian pear doesn't flower in 2 years. Usually it takes around 5 to 7 years to flower. So you got lucky. So if yours flower in 2 years, wow, that's great. Why is my house so white? Because I have it's the windows right there is open. My grow light is right here, and so everything is just shining onto it. So that's probably why. What dormant spray do I use for my Asian pears? You can use anyone. Just look for the one that says fruit. The one I use, I forgot what it's called, but it's an organic dormant spray. But you can actually spray throughout the year. Um, it's just an oil base. You mix it with water and then you spray your trees. I got it at Home Depot actually. So there's I forgot what it's called. Carolyn, if you message me later, I'll show you the exact one that I use. Lily Tran, you have a persimmon tree? Yeah, they're very easy to grow. Persimmons are probably one of the easiest type of tree to grow. They don't need anything from you except, of course, you need to trim because if the branches are going cross like this, you want to trim them. But other than that, they just grow on their own. They produce by on their own. But the worst thing is like if you have squirrels, squirrels are like the most crazy pest to have when you have a persimmon tree because they'll come and they'll just eat the fruits for no reason and they'll just make all of the fruit fall to the ground for no reason at all. So squirrels are like the worst enemy for persimmons. Probably pears too. What are my views on 2020 fertilizer? They're great. It's basically a balanced fertilizer for if you have really bad soil. But 2020 is very high. So let's just say if you're growing veggie greens, 2020 is fine. But if you're growing peppers, 2020 might be an issue because the nitrogen contents will make the plants just keep growing, and it may not bloom. So you might have to switch. But also that's very high. Um, I would use it on vegetables and all that stuff, and it should be okay. But you can always use in a little dosage, and that should be fine. Most fertilizer are okay as long as you just don't overdo it. I always use the 10-10-10. I think that's what it was in for my seedlings. Do you grow anything that doesn't produce fruits or vegetable just for looks? Yes, flowers. I grow flowering plants like the Texas. What do they call this? These purple flowering plants. I forgot what they call. Uh, Vitex. Yes, Texas Vitex. And I also grow one Japanese maple. And that tree is suffering like crazy every year because we have so much sun. It needs to be shaded. I grow like coleus flowers because coleus is awesome. You can grow like a few plants and then you can clone them and you have like double of everything. Uh, do do all peppers get more sweet and less fibrous the more you let them ripen? Usually, most peppers will get sweeter and softer as they ripen up. What is my favorite plant? I love fruit trees. I love pear trees because they are the most beautiful trees that you can grow to eat, and also they just look amazing. Like right now, my pears are like blooming so beautifully. Everything is white on there. The flowers are everywhere. They just look amazing. So I think pear trees may be one of my favorite. Lily, I don't have a scheduled time every week. I just try to come on like Saturday or Sunday, usually between 2 to 4 p.m. Usually around that time. That's when the kids are asleep. Jimmy Pickles, the man. How you doing, sir? Good to see you. I think Jimmy Pickles have a lot of fans here. Alberto knows who you are. Okay, I'm gonna go to some more questions here, guys. Okay, so I planted two peppers from Thai pepper from Asian market. I overwinter them out outside, bring them in only when the temperature is too cold. One of them has turned light green and yellow. What can I do? When they turn light green or yellow, it could be because there's just you water too much. Usually, that's usually the case because what happened is in the wintertime, the peppers kind of become dormant and they can't release all of the water it takes up. So they don't take up a lot of water in the wintertime. And so the more you water, the water just stays in the pot, and it'll cause the plant to suffer from not being able to breathe and move around with the roots. So it had wet root. The wet roots will cause the plant to become yellow and turn kind of greenish or whitish yellow. And yeah, and also it could be because there's not enough light because when you bring it inside, you is it inside your garage where there's no light, and that could be the cause of it too because pepper plants do they do love a lot of light, like 6 to 8 hours at least. They're tropical plants, so they don't really like the winter time or not having enough light. But watering is the problem. Try to water. The thing with peppers is they do love water, But what you should do is you give a thorough water so that all the pot is wet and get water in the pot, and then don't water again until the pot is dry. If you water every day, then that's going to be a problem. It's going to struggle, it won't grow. Aaron, buddy, good to have you, Aaron. Good afternoon. How's the weather in beautiful California? Is there any way to save a pepper plant that has been over fertilized? Yes, there is a way. Just take it out of the pot, give it new soil, and you're all set. You can dig it out. Pepper plants are really tough. Even when you dig it out and you damage some roots, it's okay. They'll live. It's better than staying in the bad soil and eventually just wither. Just dig it up, and then put it into a fresh pot with the right mixture of soil, and then you're all set. They'll be fine. Let's see. I planted my Scotch bonnet peppers into a large container, but unfortunately broke most of the roots. If you didn't break all of the roots, it still be okay. They will come back. Just trim some leaves off and some branches off, because if there's not enough roots to take up what they need, it's going to struggle. So do a little trimming. If there's some roots left, just trim a little bit, and you should be okay. Pepper plants are tough. They'll put roots right back in about 2 to 3 weeks. What's your favorite peppers? I mentioned this earlier, but I'll say it again. I have a lot. One of my favorite is the Brazilian starfish. I love Brazilian starfish, and I'm growing some this year because I just like to grow. They're beautiful, by the way, and they taste amazing. They taste like a fruit, and it gives you a kick. And I usually like pick about 4 or 5 of them when I work in the garden, and I just eat them. And that's one. That's one. And I love the white Thai varieties. I love a lot of the ahi varieties like ahi mango, ahi pineapples, ahi, what else? Ahi lemons. Those are all great. I love pequeños peppers. They're great in picklings, but also eat them raw because they're not super crazy hot. And a lot of the cane star varieties are my favorite because I grow them every year. Can you make yourself look Caucasian for a second? How? I'm not sure how to do that. Spider Farmer SF 1000 or the Marheister 1000? Definitely the Spider Farmer SF 1000. It's a great. I actually used both of them before, and I do prefer the Spider Farmer. And of course, Eric, Joseph, that's my opinion. Okay, so but if it's up to me to choose between the two, I'm going with the Spider Farmer. Let's see. Do you like Alex Jones? Is that the guy that does talk shows on YouTube, I think? Uh, I think that's who it is, right? Alex Jones. Do you think the WC pepper needs constant airflow, or they can just put it in like an hour a day? Uh, an hour a day would work, but a constant airflow is great. Are, are you talking about airflow or air bubbling? Bubbling in DWC. In a DWC method, you need constant air pump into the roots. But if the pump is off, it's fine. As long as you have it on an hour, off an hour, on an hour, or even on for a day, off for a day, it should be fine too. It won't kill your plant. But constant airflow, air bubbles action in the DWC method is the most ideal, because DWC is when the root is submerged completely. So if there's oxygen in the water, it'll help the roots, grow and breathe and all that stuff. So it's great. Are Brazilian starfish pepper too hot? No, they're not hot at all. I mean, they're a little bit hot, but they're not hot. Most people that don't even like spicy food can probably eat it. I don't use terracotta pods. I've seen a lot of people use that, but not I have not used it. Man on fire. I have sun scalded several pepper plants on accident. What do you do when the peppers while you're hardening off? Uh, Take it outside in the sun for like 30 minutes and take it back in. And then the next day do 30 minutes and then gradually move it up to an hour to 2 hours. And then after that, it should be 4 hours and you're done. And they're pretty fast. Usually I'll take it outside in the sun like in late March because the sun is not too brutal, and I'll just leave it outside the whole time. As long as it's like 75 degrees, they don't burn. Uh, if it gets to 85 to 90 degrees, that's when you get sun scald. And the, if you have grown them inside, the leaves are very sensitive. So as soon uh, the trick is if you take the baby plants outside sooner, they're tougher than larger plants. You know that the baby seedlings that have four leaves that are small are stronger than the pepper plants that had four big leaves. It's because of the way they take up water in the large leaves. And if you take them outside sooner, you they can stand the sun much better. It's crazy. Baby plants can withstand the sun more than the the larger plants. Quentin, my pepper plants are looking. Some of them are looking great, and some of them are not looking so great because what happened was I took all of my plants outside, and then I left it, and I went traveling to Houston for a few days, and then we had so much rain, and then the pot kind of get too much water, and when I got back my plants started to turn white. It's crazy, my baby seedlings. And so I had to dump the water out of the tray. And now the plants are starting to recover, but yeah, a lot of the seedlings are not looking good, but they're okay, they'll come back. But my larger plants are doing great. I'll do a follow-up very soon. I'll show you what they look like. I already have pods on some of the plants that I grew inside, and now I took them outside. They already produce pods, and they're already ripening up right now. So it's crazy that barely in March, and I already have peppers to use. Joseph, should I pick my blossom off my plants that are 3 inch tall or leave them? If they're only 3 inch tall, they're not big enough to produce enough. Pick them off, pick them all off, and allow the plant to focus on growing first. And once they get to the size that you want them, then you allow them to fruit. That way, you get a bigger plant. But also make sure you have a long season because it does take a while for them to start fruiting again. So yeah, if I were you, if they're only 3 inches tall, pick all of those off. Just let it focus on growth first. Punctuation mistake. Can an insufficient aeration cause pH to drop due to high CO2 contents in the DWC? Uh, no, I don't think pH drop because you don't have enough aeration. pH drop due to many things. Like it depends on the size of your plant. Let's just say if you have a tomato plants or a pepper plants that are big and they're fruiting already, and once they're fruiting, they tend to take up certain nutrients quicker and leave the one that they don't need behind. And because of that, it fluctuates your nutrients, but also it fluctuates your pH. As when the plants are fruiting, you will notice that the pH fluctuate very often. But if you can keep them between, like 6, 5.9 to 6.5, between that range is good enough. But also, if your container is small, it fluctuates faster than when the container is larger. So it depends on how big your container is. Uh, it may be the cause of the fluctuation. Have I recovered from the Texas freeze? Yes, thank you so much for that. I have recovered. Mighty North. The crazy thing is that I have so many plants that actually survived the crazy storm that we had. It is ridiculous. My cress, like the garden cress, no issues. Some of my perpetual spinach made it right through, no issues. My cilantro made it right through. All my spinach made it right through, no issues. Man, and then comfrey came right back, and they're growing like mad right now. So there's a lot of plants. Asparagus are cool. They're doing great. So a lot of the stuff are still there. What do you do for a living outside of the pepper world? I work in IT. That is my background. I usually don't discuss too much about it because even if I tell people, they're like, What the heck is that?" But yeah, so I work in IT. That is what I do outside of the pepper world. Uh, Graham Smith, I started my hydroponic peppers indoor too early and they're too big. Can I chop the top off the plants? Yes, you can. I do that all the time. When I do start my plants really early and they get massive too fast, and I need to keep them under control. So I cut them. I just cut the top and keep them under control. And even when you cut the top, you can actually cut some of the leaves too to kind of control it before it gets out of hand. Because you grow it in hydroponic, it's gonna grow right back in a matter of like a few days. You're gonna be amazed. So Graham, just cut it off. In a few days, they'll grow right back because hydroponic grows peppers really fast. And because food is always available, so it's like they're having a buffet. The weather in Germany is not best for growing peppers. Is it because the season is too short, or is it because it's too hot, or how? What is it? Sometimes, if it's too hot, you can start the seedlings early, like in the cool months, and then take it outside when it's warm enough, and then they will produce very fast. So there's a way to do it, and try starting seeds inside. And that's what I usually do every year. I have my plants all grown inside, and then when I take them outside, within like 2 months, I have fruits. So I have peppers. Like right now, I have a few plants that already put peppers out for me to use. Lily, can I get uh, IT advices? Probably not. I'm like the worst. But yeah, the funny thing is, I met so many people with the same background as me that are into gardening. So we talk about gardening and we talk about the IT stuff. Like Christopher, the one that made me the grow unit. Chris and I talk all the time. He's from Norway, and we have so many things in common. Our interest in gardening, and also our interest in the gadgets and IT and all that stuff, and our background is very similar. So I met a bunch of people like that. It's a lot of fun. Yes, Chili Chump. Chili Chump and I do the same type of work. It's crazy. I didn't know that. So when we had a call together and we talked about it, we're like, what? He and I have the same background. We do the same type of work. It's amazing. I was into cryptocurrency in a long time ago, but I didn't do anything, and now I've lost anything. But I have a buddy of mine that does crazy crypto currency trading and all that stuff. That he loved that thing. So I guess if I have advice, I just go to them. Brad, Hidden Harvest Grow Light, Brad. How are you, sir? Good to have you. Oh yeah, earlier we are talking about grow lights. Guys, check out Brad's website, Hidden Harvest Grow Light Company. I've used his grow light before, and I still have them. And I grew many things under that light. You should my videos. I have a few videos up on it. Fab, you're a back-end developer. Awesome. I work with a bunch of those guys. They're super smart. Okay, let's see. Charlie Pepper. Yeah. I should connect with Sean Chili Chump again. We should do more things together. He does some amazing things with his stuff. He does all kinds of sauces and all that stuff. So very cool. Yeah, if I do look into crypto, I should invest in Schlatt coin. I'm not sure what that is, but I may look it up after this. Did you ever before imagine you would be a big influence for the world? I have no idea that that's going to happen, and I have no idea that I'm actually a big influence. What I do is what I love to do. I grow peppers all the time, and do hydroponic. I want to be a teacher one day, so I think a lot of the things I do is preparing to maybe to be a teacher one day when I retire. Have I ever checked what who choose? Who choose? No, I haven't, Aaron. I should check out his channel if you think he has good stuff. I haven't. I don't know who that is. Charlie, I actually am in the poblano contest, and I have a poblano plant starting right now, and it's looking good. I'm gonna show it to Sean pretty soon. It's about this big now, not crazy big, but it's a start. Uh, Martin Plumbing, yes, I am growing lemon starburst this year. Uh, I think I'm gonna grow maybe 4 plants. I'm gonna use one for the contest. I'm gonna pick the best plants for the contest. I'm growing the lemon starburst, the peach starkist, and I'm also growing the scarlet rose. So a lot of good stuff. And I'm also, let's see what I'm doing. I'm growing a few of other crosses that my friends sent me on Facebook. They asked of me to help them grow it out, so that's what I'm doing. I have a few uh, varieties, and then Chris from Norway sent me a variety called Crisscross. He loves the 80s music, so his name is Chris, and he crossed the pepper. He called it Crisscross after the 80s group. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, that's what I'm growing. I'm growing crisscross pepper. Drew, if you come to Pepper Lovers on Facebook, you can trade for those seeds there. People give them out all the time. So check it out. Make some friends, and they'll give you so many seeds. But the important thing is to go there, hang around, make some friends with people, and you get so many seeds you wouldn't even know what to do with them. Charles, yes, thank you so much. I'm glad you finally made it, and good to have you. Good afternoon. What's the contest? What is the contest about, and what are the winning conditions? There are multiple contests. If you're going with the Chili Chump has a poblano contest, and it's to see who grows the biggest poblano pepper, I think. And the Lemon Starburst contest is who grows the most ripe pods in the Lemon Starburst. I think last year somebody grew a plant that had 300 and is it 50 or something? 350 ripe lemon starbursts that won the contest. Wow, 350 guys, that's crazy, right? I think my plant never made it to 300 yet. Maybe 100 at the most. Is it worth it to try small melon varieties in hydro? So the thing with hydro is when you grow melon, it takes a long time to grow melon in hydroponic, but it also takes a lot of resources. So if you don't mind the light and like the the electricity bill as opposed to the yield that you get, it's a lot of fun. But as far as like cost versus yield, growing melon is a terrible idea in hydroponic unless you have a greenhouse where you can grow like a ton of them like what they do. Because I grow melons all the time in hydroponic, and I get a kick out of just growing watermelons, cantaloupes, these Japanese melons. And I always get like maybe 2 to 3 melons, like for like 60 days, something like that. And it's a long process. It takes a lot of resources, and you don't get the yield that you want. So, so if you're cool with that, definitely grow melons in hydroponic because there's a lot you can learn. And just waiting, just seeing the melon grow and grow and grow and grow, and it's a lot of fun, and it's worth it for me. And I'll do it again. And I'm actually doing one right now. I'm growing these Ichibana melon from Japan, and I'm growing 2 vines. So if it turns out great, I'm going to show it to you guys. Dave! Yes, sir. I'm glad you made it to the stream. And long time no see, man. How you been, Dave? I hope everything's fine with the family. I haven't talked to Dave in so long. Grown at home in West Virginia. Dave and I have been friends for a long time. I think over 5 years now. And I text him from time to time. And finally, Dave, I'm glad you're here. Is Donna around? Say hi to Donna too. Oh man, I heard about the cicadas that are coming. Is it 17 years or 7 years? Something like that, right? Is it 17 years? And this is the year that they're going to come out. So let's see. Yes, Lily. How long has it been? Joshua, yes, I am the DFW, the Metroplex. Man on fire, yes. If the leaves is damaged, you can remove it. Uh, the damaged leaf will not do anything for the peppers. Just take them off. But yeah, make sure that you don't leave them in the sun for too long. Just bring them out for 30 minutes, and then an hour, and then 2 hours, then 4 hours. And after that, you can probably leave them there for half a day. And within maybe a week and a half, you should have the plants ready to be outside completely. And yes, you can trim the damaged leaves off, and they should be okay. Charles, are you asking about the solar air pump that I use for my hydroponic outside? So yeah, the solar air pumps is a lot of fun, guys. I bought that off of Amazon for 25 bucks, and it's lasted me over 2.5 years now. And I grow these big old 21 gallons tote, and I grow a lot of cucumbers and a lot of lettuce. And because we get a lot of rain, and if you grow hydroponic outside in the rain, what it does is it drown the plants because the rain will fill up the tote, and then the plants would drown because it can't breathe. And so I bought those solar air pump, and that helps with the pumping air into the water, and keep the plants alive. So I didn't have to worry about the rain. Like tonight it's gonna rain. Yesterday it rained. The night before it rained like crazy. And when I came outside, the plants are fine. The solar pump is pumping air into it, and it's alive right now. So without it, I usually do the cracky. And if you do cracky method and there's rain, you have to go out there and pour water out to the original spot where it was before it rained. And when you do that, it's kind of a lot of work. So that pump helped a lot. Yes, the pump was $25, and I think last I checked, it went up to $35. But I have another. If you There's another one that I just bought that was $25, and I'm using it right now. It actually works really good. Let me give you the link, Charles, so you can see. I'll look it up for you. Solar air pump. All right, here you go, Charles. This is the one that I bought yesterday. It came today, and I used it already. And it is so cool. It's bigger than the one that I use in the video, and it comes with a splitter, and you can actually have two systems in it. It's amazing. So that that pump right there, 25 bucks. Is actually a better price than the one that I use in the video. So yeah, you can use it has a splitter. It comes with a splitter, and you can put two systems using the same air pump, and it's solar. The thing with this is I haven't tested in the rain yet because I just got it yesterday. So maybe check back with me next time. I'm gonna leave it outside tonight when it rains, and if it's dead tomorrow, I'm gonna return it. Yes, Uh, the solar pump has an internal battery that would run for a few more hours after the sun is down, and then it'll die. And then when the sun comes up, it recharges itself. But the thing is, even if there's no sun for 3 days, the plant will still be fine. If there's already oxygen in the water being pumped, and then the pump goes out for 2 to 3 days, it should be okay. So no problem at all. So some people are afraid that, oh, if the pumps die or it goes off, the plant would die the next day. That's not the case. It won't die for like maybe 2 to 3 days, maybe even a week. Yes, pumpkins do need to crawl and spread. But the thing with growing pumpkins and melons inside is that you can't allow the vines to grow all over the place. You have to cut and trim. So what I usually do is if I have a vine, right, that produce a fruit, and if I say I want three fruits, that's it. And everything else I cut off. So I only allow three fruits to grow, and everything else I have to trim. Because if they get out of control, they drink too much, and then you have to refill too much. And then all that work is really not worth the effort anymore. So it's always good to trim and leave only one vine for the melons if you're growing it inside. Uh, I've grown sugar babies inside hydroponics indoors. And man, when I tried it, I was like, there's no way the sugar baby is going to taste good grown in hydroponic. And I was so surprised. It was very sweet. So hydroponic watermelon tastes very much the same as the regular watermelon. You'll be surprised. Hello, Crash. Yeah, the weekly live, I'll try to do weekly at the same time every week between 2 to 3 p.m. or maybe 2 to 4 p.m. Usually it's going to be Saturday or Sunday. Chris, my buddy, I was just talking about you, Chris. Good things, of course. Chris is from Norway. Guys, Chris also has a YouTube channel. He does a lot of the gadgets and he does hydroponics, indoor growing. If you want to see a crazy indoor grow room, check out Chris's channel. I've never seen anything like it. It's like a room that's inside, and he's growing plants in there. Uh, I have two grow tents running, 10 hours of lights a day. I have a few arrow gardens and a few other light stuff. And I don't really notice my electric bill goes up that crazy. You'd be surprised. I mean, people think like, oh, I spend like a fortune on electricity. It's really not that bad at all. And you know what? The another cool thing that I want to point out to you guys is sometimes some electric provider, they have a plan called the nights and weekends. So at night and weekends, the price is reduced or free. And I only turn on my lights at night anyway because I grow in the garage. And like say in the wintertime, at night it's really cold. So when I turn on the lights at night, it keeps my grow room warm. And so that's why I turn it on at night. And then in the summer, the daytime is just super crazy hot. And I wait until the nighttime so the garage can cool down before I turn my lights on. So my grow tent only runs in the evening. So that's great for people that have nights and weekend plan where electricity is free for nights and weekend. You can run it all nights and weekend and save you some money. My baby is about to wake up. I have not grown the sugar rush stripe yet, but it is a very pretty pod. Somebody sent me a few and I ate it, and it's actually pretty good. It's beautiful. It tastes good. Uh, the I've grown a ton of sugar rush peach. Man, I love those things. I grow them every year. And sugar rush is probably the toughest variety of pepper plants that I've grown in the garden. They will grow in the snow, and you know, the reason that it died this year was because of the crazy snowstorm that we had. I bet if there's no crazy snowstorm like that, it would have been still alive right now. It's crazy. It's very, very hardy. It produced in the heat of Texas, like 100 degrees weather. And I mean, yes, Aaron, they grow like weeds. I mean, that thing is so tough. It grows in the cold, it grows in the heat, it grows in the shade. You can break half of the plant off and it grow right back. It's crazy. It's a very tough variety. And if you don't have any luck growing peppers, try the sugar rush. They produce in hydroponic, in soil, in in almost anything. It's a very tough variety that I highly recommend beginner to grow them. Lily, you live in California. It's the most expensive state out of in the country. So I guess everything is gonna be crazy over there. If you move over here for what you pay for your house, you can probably get a 9-bedroom mansion with a 6-car garage. and a lap pool. Does the Sugar Rush stripe taste different than the peach version? It's a very slight difference. I think the regular Sugar Rush is much sweeter, for me at least. The regular Sugar Rush peach, it's very sweet, and man, the flavor is amazing. Every time I eat Sugar Rush, it reminds me of something tropical, like it's like a fruit that's spicy. Yeah, Aaron, I think you should move to Texas, buddy. For you can get a 3 times the size of the pool, and like I said, a 6 bedroom house, and 2 acres of land. How the radishes coming along? My radishes are doing amazing, guys. Oh, you know what? Here is my radish. This is the microgreen radish. If you guys have not tried microgreen radish, I highly recommend you grow some. Look at these beautiful plants. They taste amazing. They taste almost like a regular radish, nice and spicy. And you can put this in a salad. You can just eat it however. I don't recommend cooking this because you cook away the tenderness and the crunchiness of the plant. But yeah, I grow a bunch of radish every year. I love the daikon radish, and I grow the Korean radish because I make kimchi. I posted a video on how to make kimchi already, so you can check it out. But yeah, it's great. But then you have to put up with Texas politicians. I think in every state you have to do that, right? Um, you know, I love Texas. I've lived in Seattle, Washington. I live in Washington D.C. and I live in Nashville, Tennessee. All those places I've been to before, and there's no place like home. Texas is the best for me. I love the crazy heat. Everybody complain about 100 degrees heat over here, but I love it. I mean, I can't handle the cold weather. Kingman, Mr. Jim, good to see you, sir. How are you today? It's the weather in Texas that you had to deal with. Yep, it is the weather. I love the weather. I think Lily, you're so spoiled by the beautiful California weather. I don't think you can handle it here. Chris, to grow melons, I would say a 20 gallons a DWC for melon, because I grew melon in a 5 gallon. Man, I had to change nutrients so often. They drink like crazy. And when you grow it in DWC, and when the vines spread out and you don't trim or keep it under control, they get everywhere and they have so much leaves, and all of those leaves and vines just suck up the water, like, I mean, like a thirsty person. So 20 gallons is good, but I learned my lesson about using the 5 gallons. Not gonna do that again. Oh, New Orleans. Oh, Lily's in New Orleans. Matt Landers, I put my young chili pepper plants outside today to get some sun, but it was so windy that it was damaging the leaves. Yes, wind can damage pepper plants, especially young plants that have been inside for so long. When you put it outside, usually you give it like 30 minutes of sun, but on a windy day, don't take it outside or put it somewhere where it's not windy, because the wind can damage the leaf. It also dries it out too. So young pepper plants are very sensitive, uh, especially when you have it inside already. So yes, wind for sure. Got to keep it outside, away from the wind. red moon cactus. So I think cactus are in general, they don't need a lot of water. So they need well drained soil that can drain out easily. And you give the cactus plant a thorough water. Make sure the soil is saturated with water, and then you don't water again until the soil is dry. Sometimes it may be dry at the surface, but at the bottom it's still wet. So make sure either measure the weight of the container or have a way to make sure that the container is not too wet because cactus, succulents, or any type of plants like that, they don't like a lot of water at their feet constantly. They do like water, but every once in a while. Glenn, I have not grown that. I don't even know what that is. Congrats, Jim. You're doing great, buddy. Keep up the good work. Yes, Chris, I think 16 gallons would be good, but definitely not 5. And right now I'm growing in a 20 gallons, and I'm only growing 2 plants, 2 melon plants. Hopefully it's going to do well. I'm trying to document it, and I'll show you guys that when it comes out. Yeah, Chris grew some interesting cucumber varieties too, melons and cucumbers. New Hampshire. The optimal color for the white type for eating is when it's cream, like it's like a pearl color, like when it's white, but after the white color, it changes to like a pearly color, and that's the best time to eat it. It's almost yellowish pearl color, and that's the best time. And for saving seeds, just wait until it's shriveled up. You can pick it when it's red and leave it on the counter, and it will shrivel by itself. But let it shrivel on the plant for the best result if you're collecting seeds. Let's see. I'm gonna let's see. Let me read more comments. I'm a little bit slow, guy. Can you use LED 30 kilowatts purple light for growing peppers? 30 watts is a little bit weak, but you know, like I grew peppers in my air garden, and it's only 45 watts. So you may be able to grow some. What are the ideal steps for bringing a pepper plant from soil outdoor to overwinter indoor? Would you transition it to hydroponic or keep it in soil? I would keep it in soil because for a plant that size to transition into hydroponic, it's going to be very difficult. If you have a smaller plant and you can transition it to hydroponic, but if it's already big like that, keep it in soil. And Emma, I have a video on how to take your pepper plants out of your garden uh, inside for overwintering. So overwintering plants, check the video out and you see. Uh, the most important thing when you're taking plants inside is that you may take a lot of the pests inside with you as well. So what I always recommend is leave the soil from the garden in the garden. So spray it down. You know, uh, um, use the fresh soil that you purchase that may not have any pests in there, and then take it inside. And also, you can strip some of the leaves off as well because they will hide under the leaves and all that stuff. So if you strip it off, it's a good idea. And then you can also spray it down, some soap and water, and spray the plant, and then rinse it off before you take it inside. That way, there's no pest coming up, hitchhike, take it inside, because it's a mess if you take the pest inside. How hot chili is too much for you? SHU. I think anything hotter than a habanero is too much for me, but I eat in moderations. I eat reapers and all these other peppers, but in small pieces at a time, and I can handle that. There's no way I can eat a pepper like Johnny Scoville, where he just eat like multiple reapers and laugh. And the funny thing is, if you make these crazy hot peppers into hot sauce, then you can handle it better. For some reason, fresh eating is just so hot, but if you make it into hot sauce, it's a little bit better. So I can handle really hot sauce, but I can't handle anything hotter than a habanero when eating fresh whole pods. Is there anywhere I can get some seed for the lemon starburst? Yes, you can go to the Pepper Lovers community on Facebook and trade. There's many people there that grow it. Come to the community, become a member, make some friends, stick around, talk to people. They will bombard you with seeds. I promise you. Just make some friends. But if you come in and ask for seeds and leave, people usually don't reply. They know who's been around, because the post and interactions and all that stuff. So if you make some friends, man, they're gonna give you so much. I promise you, they're gonna give you so many. Yes, sure does. Johnny Scoville lives up to his name. He is the best pepper reviews, in my opinion. He's just awesome. Nice, Charles. Yes, cool. Lettuce is great. I love growing lettuce. Romaine is one of my favorite things to grow in hydroponic as well as in the garden. I just love romaine because we use it a lot, and they grow amazingly in hydroponic. In 30 days, you get a full head of beautiful lettuce, and it's fast. You don't even have to need you don't even need much. If you check some of my videos out, it's so easy. 1 gallon for one plant. So lettuce in general, 1 gallon for one plant. So if you want to grow 5 plants, then 5 gallons. That's all they need. Team optimal. Because you grow the watermelons. Watermelons are they're harder to transition than any other plants, because they're vines, and the vines are really long, right? And up and down the vine there's water. So if you grow it in hydroponic, then when you take it out and put it into soil, you kind of stop the cycle of water that is able to take up anytime it needs it. So when you take it to soil, you have to try to replicate the condition. You have to make the soil wetter than usual, because the plant just came out of hydroponic. So if you have that means in most cases, when you take plants from hydro to soil, the soil has to be wetter than usual, than how you would usually water your plant. It has to be super wet, and also it has to be keep in the shade. You can't keep it in the sun immediately. It's going to droop, because the light inside is not as strong as the sunlight outside. So it's going to damage your plant. It's going to make it droop immediately. So the condition has to match, and have to put more water than usual. And then the plant would take about 4 days to finally recuperate. And that's how I do it. Check out my video on how to take plants from hydro to soil, and you will see the process that I used. And that's what I usually recommend. It should work for most plants. It's a little bit tougher for melons, unless the melons is still small. But keep it in the shade. It's very important. Uh, to from aero garden to outdoors, Sebastian, I did a video on how to take peppers from the aero garden to outdoors. You should check it out. I cover everything in detail. You will see that all of the steps that I use, and if you follow that, your plants will be fine. Which pepper variety did I fall in love with first? Probably the Thai peppers and the Scotch bonnets. Those are my two favorites, and those are the ones that got me into everything else. The barnyard chicken, yeah, thank you. I love growing romaine, and I grow it every single year. You know, I have so much romaine seeds. I mean, I'm talking about like hundreds of thousands of romaine seeds, and I grow them as microgreens. And one romaine plant, if you let it go to seed, you can have enough seeds for like 10 years. And I had so many seeds that I collected over the years. It's crazy. I grow microgreens every season, just like this. I showed it earlier. Have you guys already seen this? These are radish microgreens. So when I collect so much seeds that I can't use up, this is what I do. I grow them as microgreens to use in the winter time. That way I have greens all the time. Because everything I eat, I always put something green in there. Alberto Einstein, I agree with you. It is amazing that me being here, I'm able to talk with so many people from other countries that I would never be able to. So technology is amazing, yes. And thank you guys for joining me from all over the world. I mean, the time is all different and stuff. And yeah, thanks for stopping by to hang out. Wow, I've almost gotten to 2 hours already. Um, do you guys have more questions? Just put them in the chat. I'm trying to go down the list, and I'm probably gonna get off pretty soon. Joseph, yes, I always sacrifice plants to get something new. Like I have a Chinese cabbage that's been growing for like over 60 days now, and man, I it's still a beautiful plant, and I've used so many of the leaves already. And now I'm trying to get something new in the system, so I have to sacrifice that plant to put something in. Yes, I do that all the time. It's still very difficult, but you just do it. Brian, no, I have not crossed a cayenne with a habanero yet. Maybe you should try it, or somebody may have already. I'm not sure. Giuliano, you're setting up an orchard. Wow, that's awesome. Wow, that would be amazing to see. Uh, yeah, man. I mean, that amount of space would be awesome. That's just something I would dream of. Maybe one of these days I will retire and have like a big piece of land somewhere in the countryside. Definitely, trying new things is what make gardening fun, and I'm trying new things all the time. Uh, you know, every now and then I just like in the garden I think of a new idea, and then I'll go and try it. And I think the people that just got here haven't seen this yet. So for the new people, I showed this earlier. So this is my tomato plant that I grew in hydroponic in a water bottle. You see the algae? Algae is caused because light can penetrate through, and this is what I try to do to cover it, but it doesn't. I don't have enough to cover the entire thing. So there's algae growing right there. You see it? But it's okay because I can just go get water, rinse it out, and look at my tomato. Isn't it beautiful? Look at this. Look at all of these flowers and up there in a system like this. And this is an extra plant that I didn't want to throw away, so I use it to test. And man, I am really happy with it. And then also my pepper plant. You see, here's a fruit right here. So you can grow any plant in little containers. So don't be afraid to try it. It's very easy. This is a shot glass. You see that? I wiped it out because I have used it so many times already for many things. So I recycle this. I keep using it over and over because I didn't want to buy any more net cups. The net cups are pretty inexpensive, but I ran out of net cups, and so I cut the bottom of these out, and I use that as net cups. So if you have these cups around, I was at a party and we were having this here, so people were throwing it out. So I kept a bunch of these to use as net cups. They last for a very long time, and so you can grow pepper. You see, I have a pepper right here, and lots of other ones that are forming. So you can grow tomatoes and peppers in very small containers and do it inside. It's very fun, very cheap, and once you're successful, it's gonna make you explore more options and do more things. So that's what I did. I just do small grow, and and then it leads one thing lead to another, and I'm growing all kinds of things right now. Now I'm growing fruit trees, the flowering trees, and all kinds of trees. Obsessive gardener, hello, my friend. Good to see you. Charles, you're from Connecticut, yeah. Yeah, you guys are way up north, so you may have a few more weeks, right, before you can really grow everything outside. But the cool thing is, the cooler months, I love growing stuff in the cooler months because there's no pests. Like I grow a lot of the cool weather plants, like lettuce. Um, what else? Arugula and all that stuff, and Chinese cabbages, mustard. This time of the year, there's no caterpillars, no pests, no nothing. So it's great growing in the cool months. So you got to find plants that can grow in the cold weather, and it's great because you don't have to deal with the bugs and all that stuff. But as soon as April comes around, man, I get like caterpillars and cabbage worms and all that stuff. And so, and then of course you get mosquitoes. So I kind of do like growing stuff in the cool months. There is a rock wool inside there, but you don't have to use rock wool. You can use any type of medium you want. You can use pebbles. Pebbles will work. Hydrogen pebbles. How many holes did I put at the bottom of the cup? I didn't put a hole, Lily. I just cut a hole at the bottom of the cup. Let me see if I can show you one. So see, I started seeds in here. So I cut a hole like this. Oops, like that, and I leave enough room so that the it can hold the rock wool without falling through, and that's what I use as net cups. So these are my net cups now. I don't buy any more net cups. I just use these, and you can see I've wrote so many things because I've used it so many times. I keep reaching over there because my arrow garden and the grow unit that Chris gave me is right all over there. Chris, I'm the master of strange grow systems. Thank you. I need to get up into Chris's level where I can build my own grow unit and all that stuff. It's amazing what you can do, Chris. Team Optimal. I started growing jalapenos in a Kratky. It's going really good for about 4 to 5 inch tall, and suddenly yesterday the leaves start to curl and drop off. Did you refill the nutrients recently? And did you refill past the original level? Because if you did, the plant probably is drowning right now. In the Kratky method, you always have to leave an air gap. So let's just say, um, I'll give you an example. Uh, how to refill the Kratky method, okay? So the Kratky method, the roots will grow down as the water level drops, right? And in between here is the air gap. So if you need to refill, you have to refill back to here and not here. If you refill up to here, your plants are gonna die. You always have to leave this gap of air. Okay? So when you refill, go back to the original position where it is, right here, not here. And that's how you refill in the Kratky method. So if you happen to refill all the way up, pour the water out. Or else the plants will drown. So I, Team Optimal, I hope that helps you answer your question. Yeah, Ben, microgreens take up no space. They need very little light also. You can put them by the window and they be fine. Joseph, I just destroy a net cup company. Be resourceful. You don't have to buy net cups if you don't need to. Let's see. Morning, Garner, my friend. Good to have you. Thank you. Good to see you here. Back to Eden, Garner. Hello, hello. Okay, I just started in the Kratky days ago. Never refill yet. If you never refilled yet and your plant is drooping and falling over, that's something in your nutrients that's causing the plant to not be able to breathe or something. Not sure. It shouldn't fall over. Are you giving it enough light or something must be wrong, or else the plant just all of a sudden wouldn't do that. Life in Cali, hello, Southern California. You guys have like the best weather. What is my preferred nutrients for potted super hots? I usually go with the fish Alaska fish emulsion, the fish fertilizer. It's a very it smells really bad, but the plants will love it. So you mix it according to the instructions. Mix it with water and just give your plants a feeding every 2 to 3 weeks, and you should be good. Jan, my Carolina Reaper plants grow very slow in hydroponic. It's 71 degrees, not enough to grow. 71 degrees is actually perfect in hydroponic. Well, it depends. The Carolina does grow a little bit slow, but once it takes off, it goes very fast. 71 degrees is a perfect temperature for growing in hydroponic. Maybe it could be if your plant is small, try to reduce the feeding like half strength. Half strength is always great uh, to grow young plants, and then once they get to like a good size, then you can give it full strength. But usually, don't give it full strength right away because then you can damage the plant, and it would take forever to start growing again and get established. Steven! What's up, Steven? We should party again soon. I have not grown strawberries because I usually grow stuff that I like to eat, and for some reason I'm not a big fan of strawberries, so I never grow strawberries. But I do grow spinach. I grow spinach all the time. I grow it in hydroponic. I grow it inside the soil. I actually prefer spinach in soil more than spinach in hydroponic because the yield that I get from the hydroponic spinach isn't what I really want. So I usually just grow the spinach in soil, and they seem to do really well. And spinach is one of those plants that can survive a freeze, guys. They're really tough plants. The Texas frost that we had recently, the freeze that we had, the only thing, a few plants that live is one of them is the spinach. No issues at all. Uh, wow, you know what? I should do another garden tour. Yeah, it's been a while since I did one. Right now, I have mostly vegetable growing and a lot of beautiful flowers on my pear trees. Man, I think this is a good time to do a garden tour because the pear tree is just gorgeous right now. Can you eat ornamental peppers? Yes, you can eat ornamental peppers. They just don't taste good. They don't have much of a flavor. Giuliano, somebody just asked me that before. Have I grown the sugar rush stripes? No, I have not, but I have eaten it before because a friend of mine sent me a few pods. It tastes pretty good, but I kind of prefer the original sugar pods over the sugar rush stripes. But they look gorgeous though. They have those red stripes that's just amazing to look at. Life in life in Cali. How's the garden after the freeze? You know, most of my plants died after the freeze. Uh, the saddest part was that I had a 3-year-old beet plant. It is beautiful, and that it died after the freeze. Man, I grew it for 3 years. I didn't dig it up. It's just amazing looking plant, and it finally died. I was very sad about that, but everything else is fine. Like my spinach, cilantro, cress. I just made a video on the cress recently. If you want to check it out and see the garden cress, they are amazing. No issues with those things. They just come right back. A lot of my perpetual spinach came right back. My arugula didn't suffer much, came right back. A lot of my romaine all came back. So my garden didn't uh, wasn't much affected except my lime tree. I'm very sad about my lime tree. It's completely dead. And I had it growing for like 3 years now. Oh man, my lime tree. I love that lime tree. Any tips on growing my hair back? I don't know. I eat a lot of vegetables. Surely you got to eat a lot of vegetable. It'll help with the hair growth. I'm gonna see if I missed any questions, guys. I have the chat box slow down because I'm a slow reader. Teflon, hello from the great England, UK, right? Travis, are you talking about like the Malabar spinach, the one that climbs like a vine? Yeah, the Malabar spinach are ones that climbs like a vine. There are actually multiple varieties of those, and I grew one last year. Man, they produce so many leaves, and then of course winter came, and then they started to produce a lot of seeds. Yes, he is almost a year old now, so he's gonna be uh, in the garden digging around. Yesterday, I took him outside to show him some of my plants, and he yanked one of my plant that had a lot of the. I was growing a rat tail radish or dragon tail radish, and he yanked it, and I mean the whole stalk like this fell off with all the pods on there. My baby is always in the garden just smashing all of my plants. Thanks, Joseph. Good to see you. Yeah, hope to see you again next time. Mike Finley. Wow, Mike Finley is like Michael Finley, the basketball player for the Mavericks. Uh, do do you top your pepper plant? If so, what size? Uh, I usually start my pepper plants very early inside, and usually before they can come outside, they grow all over the place, and I need to keep them under control. And so I always top them. So the best times I usually top them is when it grows up like this and it splits into a Y. So I cut off right at the Y, and that's usually where it is. And because usually when it becomes a Y like that, it has little flowers, and I had to slow them down so that it doesn't flower in the little cup before I take them outside. So I just pinch where the Y area is. Or if you see buds on there, just pinch that top off. If you're not ready for it to, to fruit. So the only time I top is when I want to slow the pepper down. It does give it a little delay, and then it grows the size and stuff like that. But if I put them in the ground already before they got big, I just let them grow without topping it. So yeah, top if you have to, but if you don't have to, then don't top them. JB, would it be greedy to ask for more content? What content would you be asking for? Is there a plant that I have trouble growing? Let's see. Um, I'm sure I have so many plants that I have trouble growing. I just have oh yes, the Japanese radish. I'm having trouble growing them right now. So I tried it last year, and I started them too late. Because I think most radish, especially the Sakurajima radish, the ones that grows this big, they do need a long period of cool weather. So last year I started them too late. So by the time I put them outside, it was so hot, so they started to produce the flowers right away. This year I started them way too early, and then I put them outside, and then the snowstorm came through and wiped most of it out. So I had to start over, and then when I start over, it was already warm. So right now they're growing. They're like around this big, but it's getting so warm already. So I think I'm gonna lose them again. So Sakurajima radish, they're like these huge daikons. They taste really good too. So that's the one I'm struggling right now to grow. Thank you, Justin. I'm glad you can make it here. Joseph, good to see you. So I'll see you again soon. Jan, the solar air pumps, are they any good or do they break? I have four now, and the first one that I bought was about 3 years ago. It finally broke because the panel corroded in the after so long, so it finally died. I read a lot of bad reviews about them, but the ones that I have is still working. So I don't know. I can't say. The ones that I have worked for a long time, and one of it has lasted over 2 years. Ben, have I tried to grow seeds from fruits that I bought in the supermarket? Yes. Last year I wanted to grow serrano peppers, and I couldn't find serrano pepper seeds, so I went to the store and bought a few serranos, And then I grew from those serrano peppers, and they turned out just like it. Lily, thank you. I'll see you next time. Giuliano, have I ever thought of collaborating with other gardener peppers YouTuber? Yes, I've worked with Sean, which is a chili chump. We did a few streams together, or one stream together, and I think in the future there will be more. We talked about it, so yeah, there's gonna be more times when we're gonna collaborate. Chris, I don't know if Chris is still here. Chris and I collaborate all the time. He's another gardener with a YouTube channel, Christopher Bransdaw, and we do stream together all the time. Have you ever tried low stress training instead of topping? Uh, like like what low stress? I tried topping, and I also like pick off instead of topping. I also pick up the buds, and that worked also. How do I harvest the microgreens? So you see here, most of the microgreens grow really cool. So the soil, I just use a thin layer, and once they grow really tall up here. And all you have to do is get a scissor and cut right here, and just rinse it off, and you're all set. And yeah, just cut it, and you're good to go. They're really easy. Just rinse it, and you grow it indoors, so there's no bugs or anything like that. How big a plant can grow in a 3-inch net cup? Very big. You can grow a giant tomato plant in a 3-inch net cup. Because, the net cup really doesn't determine the size of the plant. Uh, Even in a 2-inch net cup, which is what I use all the time, I can grow a massive tomato plant. So a 3-inch is perfect for a really big plant. Matt, the Scotch bonnets are one of my favorite peppers. They're great. So if you've grown them, you're gonna be happy. They're really good tasting peppers, in my opinion, and they're one of my favorites. There you go. Chris is here. You're still here. Yes. So Chris and I work together all the time. We do streams together. We chat, work on projects together, and here's a here's a website right here that Chris and I worked on together, the kcdgarden.com. Check it out, guys. Join the garden website and be a member. So Chris wrote the entire website, so check it out. He's awesome. Alberto, good to see you. So have a good one. I'll see you next time. Live in Cali. Yes, I'll see you again. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good day. Are microorganisms used for growing peppers? Are you asking like what microorganisms? Like mycorrhizals and all that stuff? Ryan, yes. If you have a floating raft, you want you so the key to reducing the algae is to make the raft fit very tightly into the system without any way for the air to pass through. I mean, not air, but the lights to pass through, and it'll work. But the cool thing with a raft system like that I made, that's just a small one that I made for show. I made a bigger one, and you're gonna have algae, but it's not gonna be a problem to that it will prevent your plant from growing. Also, you can easily clean the system by lifting the wrap and just spraying the algae off, and then refresh the nutrients. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about the algae. You will have it, but it's not gonna affect too much of the growth for your plants. So yeah, my baby's up. You see, she's in the back. So I have to go soon. I'll talk to you guys maybe next week. I'll do another live stream. Thank you everyone for being here. Wow, I've been on for 2 hours and 26 minutes. So yes, I hope I answered all that questions that you guys have. And if not, I'll try to come on again next week, and we'll do it again. Bye everyone.